All right, let's talk about integers. Before we talk about operations with integers, so adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, I just want to go over real quickly again what an integer is. So an integer is any whole number and their opposites. So if we think about the number line, we have all our whole numbers and their opposites are the negative numbers. So integers are whole numbers, and they can be negative and positive. They cannot be fractions, decimals, those numbers that only show part of a number. So they are whole numbers. So that is what an integer is. Let's look at some examples I like to use when talking about integers. When I think of integers, I like to think of them like an attic, stairs going into an attic and stairs going down to the basement. So if I am counting by positive numbers, I'm going to go up and I'm going to count my stairs 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and my positive numbers. But if I am going to go downstairs, if I'm going to go down to the basement, as I walk down, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this might just be a different way to think of the number line because those negative numbers seem to go backwards. If you think of going upstairs and downstairs, that might help you a little bit. When we're adding and subtracting integers, so if we're adding and subtracting these negative and positive numbers, we're going to use a scoreboard. And it's set up like a T-chart, so we make this T, and we're going to have our positive team and our negative team. That's our scoreboard. When we're multiplying and dividing integers, we're going to have what's called a P-chart. So it looks like a tic-tac-toe board, and going diagonally are going to be these 3-letter P's, and then the rest are going to be filled in with N's. And the P stands for positive and N stands for negative. And we're going to look at this chart kind of like we read. So we read from left to right. So positive times a negative is a negative, or positive divided by a negative is a negative. And it's the same for these two rows. So negative times a positive is a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and a negative times a negative is a positive divided by a negative is a positive. So when we are adding and subtracting, we're going to use our scoreboard, our positive team, negative team scoreboard. And when we're multiplying and dividing, we're going to use a P-chart. The next video is going to have some examples in it of adding and subtracting integers and multiplying and dividing integers. So if you need some specific examples, go look at that video.